I was asked probably 12 questions about the Confederate flag. This president's focused on action, and I'm a little dismayed that I didn't receive one question on the deaths that we got in this country this weekend. I didn't receive one question about New York City shootings doubling for the third straight week, and over the last 7 days, shootings skyrocket by 142%. Not one question. I didn't receive one question about 5 children who were killed. And I'll leave you with this remark by a dad. It broke my heart. A dad of an 8-year-old lost in Atlanta this weekend. They say Black Lives Matters. You killed a child. She didn't do nothing to nobody, was his quote. We need to be focused on securing our streets, making sure no lives are lost, because all Black lives matter. That of David Dorn and that of this 8-year-old girl.
And yet there won't be any marches or protests about any of that, will there? Here in New York, it has become pretty standard to share the latest videos of just the brazenness, the viciousness of crimes that are occurring now, in some cases in broad daylight. I'm sure you've seen the video of the elderly woman getting shoved and falling down and hitting her head on a fire hydrant by a guy who'd been arrested over 100 times. But criminal justice reform, President Trump was told by certain advisors, that was the way to respond to this Marxist uprising. Oh, boy. Oh, my. And then you had a video that's actually several now. There's a video of someone executing 2 people in the stairwell of a building here in New York where they're frantically trying to get into a door. They see the gunman coming up the steps, and it's just gut-wrenching. It's horrible that any human being could be so heartless and vicious. And there's a video of a guy driving in broad daylight out in Brooklyn, New York, and he with a guy, the victim walking with his 6-year-old daughter in broad daylight, and the passenger of a car sticks a handgun out and just shoots him a few times, kills him dead right there on the street while he's holding his 6-year-old daughter's hand. This is what's happening every day across this country. But if you bring any of this up, you will be met with people chanting, justice for Mike Brown. You'd say, what? What is Mike Brown? What does that have to do with any of this stuff? Mike Brown tried to attack a cop and take his gun and got killed, according to black eyewitnesses and according to the Obama administration's Department of Justice. We're still talking about this like he didn't get shot because he was trying to kill a cop? Justice for George Floyd, they chant. Okay, the cop who killed George Floyd is facing the rest of his life in prison. We're a country of 330 million people. There's going to be a couple of bad cops every year. That's going to happen. A dozen, 2 dozen, that's going to happen. No matter what kind of society we think we're living in, right? No matter how good police community relations are. So what about what happens every day? What about the criminality that is just considered to be a fact of life in so many communities now? In Chicago, it's completely out of control. In New York, it's trending toward what it was in the past. Big spike. Even the moron-in-chief, de Blasio, moron-in-chief for New York City, even he says things are looking pretty bad right now. Where is the concern, the outrage about this? Where's the desire to save thousands of black lives that are lost every year? In fact, I think last year it was almost 8,000 African Americans killed by other African Americans in cities across the country. That's the number. That's the statistic. Where is the focus on saving those lives? Thousands and thousands. Think of the families that are shattered when one of these individuals. These are people's sons that are dying in the street, and you never hear the kind of outrage rhetoric from the media about this. You never have the same focus on the children who are being shot on the streets of Chicago. Not once in a while, every day. Every day. But Democrats think they have the moral high ground here because they'll focus on one bad cop here, one bad cop a couple of years ago. And in some cases, they're focusing on cops who didn't do anything wrong, like Mike Brown. And that situation with Officer Darren, Wilson. There we go. I had to remember his name. They don't care. This is all about politics. It's not actually about making people safer. It's not about making our society better. This is about power, and it's about mobilizing emotions for their own side and fear in the other side to put forward policies that, as we're already seeing, will result in more people attacked, raped, murdered, violated in every criminal way imaginable from all races and backgrounds, but disproportionately, the victims will in fact be minorities, people of color, young black men in this country, because of the policies that the Democrats are pushing forward. That's just where we are. Hey, Team Buck, thank you so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you like this video, please click that little thumbs up button so then it will log as liked. And also, if you want to see more great content from The First, please click subscribe.